Hello everyone, welcome to Adventures of a Black Woman Sailor. It's Christmas morning and my mom is in the kitchen cooking dinner right now. I'm sitting in the living room fiddling around with my radar since I couldn't go to my boat but I wanted to do something and feel productive. I'm taking the cable out of the wiring harness on the inside of my radar. I've opened it up and I've taken out the cable gland so I can take out the wires and inspect them. I had to remove some silicone sealant that was in between the gland and the nut. I've taken out this wire harness which used to go in here, and then the red and black power cables used to go in these. And I've taken it out through the waterproof gland that was here. You can see it down here. And now I'm trying to figure out how this became this, because one of these cables doesn't match the inside of that. So something has changed along the line. See this one here? With the black going around the white, and it gets thicker right here, has become this thing here. This, it's a white cable with some kind of plastic wrap around it and another wire wrapped into it. And I need to find out how that became that, because all the other wires are the same. Just removing some zip ties so I can get a better handle on this. This one. Oh, I see. This black wire is rolled up into this big one too. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what happened is that this little black wire that's going into the larger black jacket, right around here, was the tiny black jacket was stripped off, and where they cut off the tiny black jacket, there's some sort of plastic wrap that starts to protect the open wire where the jacket used to be. I have to reconnect this cable to the wire harness and the inside of the radar. So what I'm going to have to do is find a way to protect this open wire that should become the wire with the small black jacket between here and when it gets into the radar, so that it will be as similar as possible to what it was. Because all the other wires are just the same as they are when they're going into the radar. I also think I'm going to have to get a new wiring harness, because the wiring harness I have, I don't think you can remove the wires from it. I tried pushing in these little tiny metal things as I pulled because it looks like they move, but I don't think that's it, because no matter what I do, the wires stay stuck in there. But luckily there are a lot of these wiring harnesses on eBay for like $15, and they are a little bit different because the ones I see on eBay have a plastic locking tab in the center on the bottom. I think it's an upgrade that happened with the Pathfinder radars that hadn't happened with this radar. My radar is M92 something or other 78, and the ones it says it's suitable for are like a slightly different part number. So but everything else about the wiring harnesses is the same. And I do see inside my radar that it looks like there is a space for that locking tab. And I did message one of the sellers on eBay to ask this question, and they seem to think that it will be suitable for my radar, even though it's not technically listed as suitable. And I'll show you the space I'm talking about. You can kind of see it right here in the very middle. There's this little indentation that's exactly where a locking tab is supposed to be. So even though the harness didn't have a locking tab, I think this radar might have been made to accommodate one. So I'm going to go ahead and buy one of those replacement harnesses. And in the meantime, while they're shipping it, I'm going to figure out how to protect that smaller black wire since it doesn't have a jacket. So that's going to be it for this episode. It's a pretty short episode because I've run to a place where I don't see what else I can do until I get that new wiring harness, and also get some new, maybe some tiny little heat shrink for that tiny black wire. I just don't have enough tools to do anything else right now. I was going to work on some splicing. I got some Marlowe double braid line from Fisheries Supply because I had a revelation that the Marlowe, sometimes you work somewhere for so long and you don't even realize some amazing things about the products you're working with. I realized that the Marlowe double braid, which is a double braid polyester, has almost twice the breaking strength of the Samson XLS, which is also a double braid polyester. And I knew it was heat treated, the Marlowe, but I didn't know that the heat treatment would make it that much stronger. So I went ahead and I just bought 3 lengths of the stuff for my halyards because it was so affordable, and it was actually stronger than some of the entry-level Dynamocord lines like the Globe 5000, which has an SK32 core, and it was only 600 pounds less strong than the Samson MLX, which is also a reputable Dynamocord line. And this is like, just for reference, the Marlowe has an 8,135 pound breaking strength. I read that the stretch or the elastic elongation of it is ridiculously high at 30% of the load. It's like 8%, which is the longest of any rope we have at 30% of the load. But then I thought more about it, and I thought, that doesn't actually mean it's worse than the Samson MLX or Samson XLS, the other polyester line, which has like 3% elongation at 30% of the load, because the load on that is 30% is going to be a much smaller load. It's going to be almost half as small. So if you're doing the same load instead of the percentage, it's going to be a lot closer. So what it really means is that the Marlowe double braid, where the Samson would break, the Marlowe double braid would just keep stretching, and I would much rather have it keep stretching than break. And also, I realized that it doesn't like, I'm not going to run into any conditions hardly ever where I'm even going to get close to the working load, because I did that sail area wind strength calculator, and I figured out that I would have to be in a 65 knot hurricane strength for me to reach the 8,135 pound braking load, or to reach a third of that on my mainsail. And if I'm just in an average 15 knot breeze, I'm only going to be reaching like 2% of my braking load. So it's not really the braking load that I have to worry about. The lines are going to be plenty strong. What I have to worry about is the chafe, because that's what usually gets you, is chafing by keeping the line in the same spot over many, many miles. So what I did was I cut all my halyards 20 feet too long so that I could A, mess up my eye splices a few times without ruining the line or making it too short, and B, so that every several thousand miles or so when I'm offshore, I could cut down the lines a little bit so that everything will be adjusted just a few feet, so that the places that we're chafing will not be in the same places anymore. So yeah, that's the only other thing I have to update about other than this radar stuff. And I was gonna do some splicing on those lines today, but I forgot to borrow some fids from work, and I don't have any fids. So I guess I'll just have to relax before Christmas dinner, or I could work on my wiring diagram. I could figure out what gauge wires I need for my wiring project and all the different levels of my wiring diagram, and I could also figure out how long the wires need to be in various places, because last night when I was on my boat I did a lot of measurements of sections of my boat, because I'm planning to do the work of the cutting and the crimping when I'm away from my boat, so that I can do it more often, and that way I'll know what to cut, and so then I can just crimp it on my lunch breaks and stuff. So yeah, those are the only updates since the last time, and have a happy holiday, and I will see you next time. Bye.